Outlaws of Thunder Junction draft season was a short but sweet one here on the channel, and new Thunder Junction content has unfortunately come to an end, but that doesn't have to mean that OTJ limited content has to end as well. Over the course of this format, I ended up doing just 22 drafts, and I only managed to trophy in 2 of those drafts, while maintaining a 57% win percentage, both far below my average in the last couple years worth of sets. But hey, they can't all be winners, can they? So it is now time to close out the Outlaws of Thunder Junction limited season, as I like to do here on the channel, with a tournament of my best drafted decks over the course of the entire format. Now, I usually do a top 8, but because of my woeful performance in this set, coupled with the unusually small number of drafts, I'll be doing just a top 4 this time around. I've gathered my 2 trophy decks, as well as a couple of wild cards to battle it out in a single elimination best of 3 tournament, and after just 3 videos over the course of this next week, we will be able to crown what was my best drafted deck in Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Now, to help me with this tournament, I've enlisted the assistance of longtime friend, viewer, and patron of the channel, George, who will be playing on my alternate account to act as my opponent for each of these 3 matches. And today we will conclude the tournament with the final match and me playing Surprising Simic, which took down Busted Boros in the semis. The deck plays several underwhelming cards that don't necessarily have a lot of synergy, like Peerless Rope Master and Djinn of Fool's Fall, as well as 2 copies of Doc Orlok, with just 4 plot cards in the entire deck. It has a bit of power in the 1 copy of Pest Infestation, which went a long way in securing some of its 7 wins, but big fat cards like Spinewood's Armadillo and Cactarantula did as well. George will be piloting the Double Roxanne deck that took down the Green-White Mounts deck in the semis. Roxanne Starfall Savant sure is a busted card, and this deck happened to have 2 copies of it. And boy, did it go a long way in ensuring many of this deck's 6 wins on the ladder. The remainder of the deck was relatively underwhelming and just ran a few decent creatures like Prickly Pear and Beastbond Outcaster, and had a few ways to deal with the opponent's threat with 2 copies of Throw from the Saddle and double Snakeskin Veil to protect our own threats. Drop a comment down below and let me know which deck you think will come out on top, and I'll see you in the match. Alright, here we are in the finals, and we are actually, not necessarily even very close. I thought that was a Conduit Pylons I saw. It's a Mirage Mesa, which means we are on pace for a turn 3 Kellen here, which I think we actually had in the semifinals as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't mind a turn 3 Kellen. That's a pretty good one there. And if we can draw a 2-drop, as we just did, things would be off to a nice cruising pace here. It's almost like I recorded this before doing commentary on it. Wow, the deck's stacked, isn't it? Alright, so we will play a turn 3 Kellen, crew it on up. Unfortunately, don't hit a creature, although also unfortunately hit 2 lands that we probably would have liked. But we'll attack here. Obviously, they won't block with the Stable Master because that is another source of mana for them, which means they could have a turn 4 Roxanne if they're able to get that and have another land drop next turn. Makes sense. Got to do the Savage Smash here now. Can't have Kellen getting out of hand too much, I wouldn't think. Take 4, I assume they weren't planning on blocking. Land is good. Go ahead and play Giant Beaver here. Saddle it on up. And it's going to attack at least as a 3/3, and now with the Cactarantula in the yard as a 4/4. Put them to 14. Let's see if they have the turn 4 Roxanne. That was a quick play. They definitely do. Down goes Burrow Fiend. Card is good. Card is good. Okay, there's Roxanne. Can we do anything about it? Currently, no. But we'll go ahead and play Rope Master, bounce their Stable Master, saddle it up with the Beaver, attack, have Rope Master be a 5/5. I doubt they block with Roxanne, but you never know. We'll see. Looks like they don't, and suddenly they're already at 10 somehow, so not too bad. See what the play is here. Sterling Hound. land and duelist, followed by the Intrepid Stablemaster. Okay. And if they didn't want to trade before, they probably don't want to attack with Roxanne now. Yeah. I mean, we are kind of the aggressor here, and land actually isn't too bad because we can now go Beaver, saddle it up with the other Beaver, play a Tumbleweed Rising for 5, and get a 5/5. So a 2-mana 5/5? I mean, I've heard that's pretty good rate. Maybe in 2 or 3 years it might be behind rate. But we'll see. So we'll saddle up the Beaver here. Attack with both, make it a 5/5. They have something at instant speed here. I do know that deck runs 2 copies of Snakeskin Veil, so it could just be that. Alright, so double block here. Kill the Rope Master. Makes sense. Go to 4, and then we still get a 5/5 with the Tumbleweed Rising here. Alright, Bristlepack Sentry. Anything else? Nothing else. Land isn't great, but we have good attacks, assuming they don't have anything. And even if they've got a Snakeskin Veil, the attacks are still fine. Roxanne would still just trade with the 5/5 if that was the case. So we'll attack with everything. Alright, Snakeskin Veil, followed by both copies of Snakeskin Veil. Okay, so Roxanne sticks around, but if they draw land, we win. And that is what happened. So we take game 1 here. In commanding fashion, as good as Roxanne was, it didn't quite hold up to the power that is a bunch of beavers on my side of the battlefield here. So we will go to game 2 in this best of 3. Best of 3 with no sideboards, just to eliminate some, mana screw, mana flood feel bads here. Not quite a turn 3 Kellen this game, but we could leave ourselves outs for that by playing Forest into Plains in the event that we top deck in the next 3 turns. I thought about doing Pylons, and I was like, what if we actually did Forest Plains? That gives us 2 more draw steps to draw an island to play Kellen on 3, which I think would be pretty good. So I actually go ahead and lead on Forest here. Just for that reason. Okay. Still can't play Dock Orlock, and we can still play the Plains, and if we miss on the island, we can play Pylons next turn, and then play Dock Orlock, so we're not really playing too far off curve here. Alright, they've got the natural Naya. Here comes Bristlepack Sentry. We'll play Conduit Pylons now that we missed on the island. And there is the island. 1 card away, we could have had the turn 3 Kellen, which would have been pretty busted considering our hand being double plot cards. Also, Dock Orlock with double plot card in the hand right now is quite good. Although down goes Dock Orlock. So we'll take 4 here, play the island, and I thought about just playing Kellen, but what I could do is plot one of these cards and then next turn play Kellen and then unplot or replay that card from plot and then potentially draw into something that I want to cast here. And I think playing a bunch of flyers might actually be pretty good. So I'm going to play the Djinn. And no plays over there. Sentry can't even attack. Now we're at an awkward spot that I drew the Cactarantula, because if I play Kellen, that is very, very off-curve playing. And the Cactarantula is a 5-drop. So let's just play Cactarantula, play a 4/3 flyer, and pass it on back. And now we are ahead on board by quite a bit here. Alright, looks like down goes the Djinn, but still can't attack, so that's fine. And we're under not a whole lot of pressure here, and by not a whole lot, I mean currently 0. So what I'm going to do is set up a pretty darn busted turn next turn by plotting the Paladin so that I can play Kellen next turn, play the Paladin, and if I draw something, another, like, non-land, I could cast that for free. Alright, now we're at 10, and we drew Stop Cold, the absolute perfect answer for the Roxanne. So here comes Kellen. Then we play Paladin, then we play Stop Cold for free, and then we play Seize the Secrets. That, my friends, is a turn in which you win games of Magic because of. So, draw 2. That turn, we removed their best threat, played 2 creatures with 8 power and 7 toughness on the board, and drew 2 cards, all for 6 mana. I'd say that's a pretty darn good deal. So unless he's got something special here, that kind of turn is... it's going to be tough to come back from. So let's see what he's got. Okay, Varmint can kill the Stop Cold, but it might be too little too late for that, because if that happens this upcoming turn, Roxanne is still tapped. So that's fine with me. Alright, down goes Kellen. Go to 16. And I guess... let's see if he attacks. Looks like he does. Trying to put some pressure on us here. I suppose the plan is going to be block Cactarantula and blow up Stop Cold before damage. So we'll just go to combat, make him do it. There's nothing we have in hand that can change any of that. Okay, looks like that was the play. Kill the Stop Cold, take 5, go to 3. We play 2 more creatures, play a Pest Infestation, probably. Let's see, play Beaver, play Bandit. Okay, don't play the Pest Infestation necessarily. And do we have lethal? We're pretty darn close. Chump Cactarantula, chump Beaver, take Paladin. Currently we have lethal, so let's see what he's got. Trick Shot, kill the trample creature. Okay. Technically not lethal anymore. Tumbleweed Rising, make a 6/6. I mean, sure. Go ahead, do that. Play Pest Infestation for 2. Destroy the Meteorite, because why not? Free value. Make a bunch of 1/1s. We can saddle up Giant Beaver, because who cares at this point? Looks like it's got to be a double chump. I guess not double chump, but Roxanne can trade for Beaver, and then we've got pretty much everything left behind here. 2 6-powered creatures, a bunch of 1/1s. This should be just fine. So as good as Roxanne is, here comes the second one. They still couldn't take down this wildly mediocre Simic deck that I am surprised did as well as it did, both in the queue when it went 7-1 and in this tournament in which it won the whole thing. And I guess that's why I named it Surprising Simic. So this Simic deck, Splashing Kellen, takes down the whole tournament, becomes the best deck drafted in Outlaws of Thunder Junction. You can see the whole tournament bracket as it concluded here on your screen now. Simic takes down Roxanne, takes down the whole tournament, and that concludes Outlaws of Thunder Junction season here on the channel. Next week is Modern Horizons 3 set review season. So you're going to want to tune in for that one if you haven't tuned into a set review season here on the channel yet. And Modern Horizons is set to be a fun set here on Arena. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you next time here at Daily Draft.